Salutations, friends. Welcome back to my channel. If you read the title, which you probably did, you know today is another Scents from a Hat video. And you probably know what the hat is chosen because at this point in time, I have no clue. So let's get into the video. If you weren't familiar with these videos are, first, they are just fun, silly, stupid, random nonsense. Do not take them seriously. Please do not take them seriously. I cannot tell you how many people take these videos seriously. Please do not take these videos seriously. But what I do is I use this hat right here to choose a random top 5 or top 10 fragrance list, and I use it by this bags of stuff. In one bag we have adjectives, in the other bag we have scenarios, and it chooses a very random top 5 or top 10 fragrance list. So we've had top 10 sexy fragrances to wear to bed, pungent scents to pretend you're a wizard, manly scents to social distance at the grocery store, feminine fragrances, I think, to wear to the bowling alley. I mean, very random lists. So today we're going to do another one because it's been, I feel like, at least a month or two, and I thought, why not have some fun? So let's go. I always retire whatever I pull out of the hat, and I always ask you guys every hat video if you have any adjectives or scenarios you would like to see in said hat, please let me know. I do put them in. So first things first, we have here, these are if they're going to be sexy, if they're going to be subtle, if they're going to be beastly. I'm going to choose randomly. So we're going to have, here we go, loud. And so this is the scenarios. So depending on the scenario, it'll either be a top 5 fragrance video or a top 10. If I think I can do a really good top 10, I will. I won't try to stretch the video to be too long if I don't think I could do a good job, and I'll just do a top 5. So to let you know, it's completely random. Like I'm not just randomly. Here we go. So it is, oh, this is perfect. Okay. We're gonna do 5 because this is going to be very, very weird video. To embrace your existential dread. I think that considering the pandemic, the state of the world, I mean, everything's on fire right now. Things are going good, things are not going good. This is something I've been dealing with the past few weeks. This will be a very telling video for you guys. All right, I'm back. I chose 5 fragrances. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, if this is your first time tuning in, do not take these videos seriously. They're just supposed to be fun. However, when I do choose the fragrances, I take the prompt and the challenge very seriously. I try to meet the challenge as best as possible. However, loud existential dread is something that is more of a conceptual prompt than beastly fragrances to wear to the club. So I chose 5 different types of fragrances, and then I'll explain each one. Now, first and foremost, this is a weird video, but to kind of explain, like the past week has been just, a lot has been going on. I've had a lot of existential stuff going on just with everything, as a lot of people have, especially dealing with the past few years with the state of the world in regards to the pandemic and everything that's been going on. It's been pretty dark and pretty rough for a lot of people. So I think that this is definitely something a lot of people can relate to. So I'm going at this as lighthearted as fun as I can, but do understand that I do respect how hard it's been for a lot of people. So the first one I chose when I was thinking about first a loud fragrance and something that could snap somebody out of feeling of where do I belong, who am I, what do I mean to the universe, life, and everything. Something that will quite literally just take over anything, because it is one of those scents, is from Dior. It's Hypnotic Poison. Now the reason why I chose this one is, first, this is a really gorgeous and sexy fragrance. I do love this scent a lot, so it's just a good scent in general. It does have a tendency to fill a room, so being loud and in your face and boisterous. But what I like is how delicious and sexy this is. It tends to take charge and grab attention, even for the person that's wearing it. So there's something about like the almond in here and the florals and just the way that this fragrance is composed that is hypnotic. Like, most definitely, I think the name is perfect. That if you wanted to get your mind off of whatever was going on in your mind and you needed a few minutes to yourself and you wanted to do that with a fragrance that would quite literally force you to only focus on what you're smelling like, because you smell very powerful and in charge and, you know, loud, and here I am. Hypnotic Poison is, you can't ignore this scent. This is not a safe fragrance to wear in the workplace. This is definitely one that you have to be very mindful of when you wear around people, because it does tend to kind of like envelope and suffocate and kind of blanket everything around it. And I do think it's very sexy. It is very beautiful. I love it so much. And it is one of the fragrances that if you're going to wear it, you will be focusing on what you smell like. And so for me, it's kind of like, if you're too much in your own head with intrusive thoughts and you're wondering too much about, well, who I am, what do I mean to the universe, and all that jazz, this is a fragrance that you could wear that's definitely loud, that would definitely pull you out of those thoughts and make you think to yourself, I smell really good. I smell like Hypnotic Poison. And if you start to think about anything else, it'll immediately enter your nostrils and you'll be like, I smell good. I smell like Hypnotic Poison. It's kind of like a mantra, and I think this is a great example of that. Now, the scent I'm wearing today, and I'm actually wore this today before this video, so it's kind of funny that I chose this fragrance, is from Pacifica, and it's Sage Me. And this is more quite literally like a grounding, clarifying fragrance. Now, I think that fragrances like this, I do think sage is just a beautiful aromatic in general, whether or not you think that sage is a very grounding, clarifying, just smell or ingredient in general for your life. The smell of it, I just love. But when it comes down to being loud, don't get the perfume, get the body mist. The body mist is the one you want for more of a longevity and also projection and like smelling loud and beastly. But I do love smelling like this, and this is a great around the house scent. I've been walking more because of my existential stuff, and also for exercise because my connective tissues need a lot of muscle around my joints so that nothing gets loosey-goosey. So before I take my shower, after I exercise or walk a few miles each morning, I like to wear morning fragrances, and normally I've been wearing things that are more bright and sunshiny because obviously Florida is quite literally the swamp, but I found myself really enjoying wearing this fragrance. You're gonna see this pop up on my most worn fragrances for May. I've worn this almost every morning, and I just thought to myself, this would be a perfect fragrance for this video because this is quite literally what I've been wearing for this reason. So hi, welcome to my life. And it's a gorgeous scent. It smells really good, especially if you want something aromatic and a little bit smoky and has that beautiful kind of smudgy sage smell to it. And it's really, really good. Also, again, Pacifica is vegan, cruelty-free, and I think for this bottle, it's like $20, $22, super affordable, and the body mists are even cheaper and what I would recommend over the bottle of perfume. However, a great one, just a very literal translation to the scents from a hat prompt. You want more of a high art translation, something that smells more artistic, more artisanal, more elevated, more luxury to the Pacifica scent. Forbidden from House of Matriarch is another fragrance that I love and I wear a lot. And so this is again, the higher end version of Sage Me. Again, this isn't like a sage smoky fragrance. This is actually more of an earthy, kind of mushroomy, indolic, overtly slimy tuberose fragrance. And I mean that in all the good ways. This smells fan-friggin-tastic. I don't know if you guys can see, it's to there, and if you guys don't know, if I make any dent in a bottle of perfume, that's saying something considering. So I make a lot of dents in my House of Matriarch fragrances. I think that that's the house I wear the most. I wear them a lot. I wear a lot of House of Matriarch. And Forbidden is one that I wear 1 or 2 spritzes of, especially when I'm feeling like I'm spiraling. Because if you guys know, in the past few years, things have been going pretty rough. with my dad passing away of cancer, the car accident, just a lot of stuff going on in the pandemic. And this is one that I think is beautiful. Now, the reason why I think this is so good for existential dread, especially to recommend to you guys, again, thanks, Scents from the Hat, for this lovely, uplifting video. You gotta love and I put that in there, but I put that in there a very long time ago. But the reason why this one specifically isn't so much because of any specific ingredient, but it's the composition and how this smells. So when I smell things that smell like earthy and vegetal and damp, it's very grounding to me. And grounding is something that I find to be very helpful when you're kind of focusing more on the universe and everything and not so much focusing on yourself. And when I'm focusing on myself and who I am and the contribution I have to my family, my friends, my partner, the people in my life who I love and respect, I find that I need to focus on my bubble and less on, you know, everything else. And when I focus on everything else and the contribution that I might have in the universe, it's overwhelming. My anxiety soars. And fragrances that are more grounding, that are a little bit more earthy, I do reach for them for things like that, and that is one that I reach for a lot. And it also does have a bit of a projection to it. The more I wear that fragrance, the more I find it lingers in the air. It does have a really beautiful sillage to it, but I also find that it projects, but I don't really realize it projects. So this will be a fragrance that I'll wear and somebody will come into the room that I'm in and they will be like 15, 20 feet away, and they will be like, oh, you're having one of those days again, aren't you, Kristin? Because they know if I'm wearing that fragrance, I'm in my head too much. So this is definitely a recognizable scent in the house. It's also a really beautiful fragrance. I think that this is a scent if you love white florals, specifically tuberose, and you want to experience it in a really beautiful and unique way. Forbidden is definitely a fragrance worth checking out because I love it's like an overtly indolic, overtly ripe, kind of slimy, sticky tuberose. And what I love about when you get to that type of white floral is it becomes like a super sweet, concentrated version of itself, and you lose some of the more standard nuances and distinctive qualities, and you start to kind of experience and explore the less explored nuances of certain aspects of whatever you're smelling. And what I mean by that is sometimes if you are, like, say you have an onion, so you have like an onion and you eat a raw onion. Some people can do that. I can't do that. It's a little too spicy, a little bit too peppery, a little bit too sharp for me. But sometimes I do like really thinly shaved raw onion in salads and sandwiches. I like that bite. But the thing is like when you cook an onion just a little bit, you might get a little bit of the sugar. You still get the flavor of the onion, but you still get a little bit of the pepper in the bite. And then obviously when you caramelize it, you get all the sugars. So think of that onion as, say, a tuberose. So when you have a fresh tuberose, tuberose can be a little bit musky, it can be a little bit bright, it can have that beautiful white floral, be a little bit creamy. And as it, gets more indolic and more ripe and more slimy, it gets sweeter and more concentrated, and you lose some of that musky brightness that you would have on like a fresh tuberose. But you still smell the tuberose, but it gets sweeter and denser and richer. And I love that kind of jam, almost like an onion jam. Like, when you have like an onion jam and you put that on like a burger or a burrito or something. I don't know, I really like it on burritos. That's what I'm talking about with an indolic, like super sticky, sweet, slimy tuberose, is you get like a very concentrated smell from that. It's not like a rancid, rotten smell. It's something very concentrated, very nuanced, but it's still tuberose. And overtly indolic white florals can be challenging, but I find Christie and Forbidden balances it so beautifully. And it, in my opinion, is very grounding. It's almost like a little bit more savory than sweet and creamy. And it's earthy and damp, and it's grounding. And it does kind of help center me sometimes, which is really fantastic. And it smells really good, and it has great projection, so it fits in this video very nicely. I don't know why I went to this one. So when I was thinking of a loud fragrance that could clear existential dread, I was thinking of a palette cleanser. What fragrance in my collection would I consider to be like a existential, like soul palette cleanser? And this is the one I found, and it's Eau de Citra Noir from Hermes. So Hermes most definitely is a super high-end equestrian fashion luxury brand line. Some of the most expensive bags in the world. I think the most expensive bags in the world. I don't think I'd ever own a Birkin. I think it's because I just don't like, I have to have like a crossbody bag. However, when I think of their fragrances, I think safe. Beautiful fragrances. Do not get me wrong. Gorgeous fragrances, stunning fragrances, safe fragrances. So when Eau de Citra Noir came out and I smelled it, I was like, ooh, buddy, that's different. First and foremost, it is sharp. It is a sharp citrus. It is not for everyone. And it is a dark kind of inky but sharp, like ambroxan sharp citrus. This is not for everybody, not for anybody, but it is a palate cleanser. It is an olfactive palate cleanser. It is going to wake up your sinuses. It is sharp. And I really like this fragrance a lot, actually. This is not for everyone. This is not a safe blind buy. Every other fragrance in this line is so safe and so easy and so beautiful and so fantastic. And this is just kind of like, I feel like a prank. I feel like every other one is just easy and fresh and sweet and just bright and fun. And then they just threw this one in there. I don't know. But when I'm thinking about getting out of existential dread or dealing with existential dread or anything like that, if it's a smell we're talking about, because that's what this video is what perfume, what fragrances would I recommend for that are loud and have good projection for dealing with existential dread. Let's say kind of like, Hypnotic Poison. That one kind of, again, you can't not think about that fragrance. It forces you to think about it. This one doesn't so much force you to think about it, but what it does is it kind of cleanses your everything of everything because it is so sharp and it is so bright and it is so in your face. And I love fragrances like that. This is great. This is the type of scents, if you like those kind of sharp, green, citrusy fragrances and you want to wear them in like winter, this is a fantastic fragrance. A great layering fragrance too for woody aromatic scents, especially if you want more of a masculine, fresh brightness to it. But if you want something to reset, turn it off and on again, as Roy would say, this is a great turn it off again for your existential issues in scent, in liquid form. And this last one, in my opinion, aside from the literal ones, aside from the higher end, beautiful kind of taking you there, grounding scents, aside from the reset buttons and the kind of mantras that force you to get over it, sometimes to get over existential issues, anxieties, hurt, and just the humdrums or whatever's dealing with you where you're kind of spiraling. Sometimes you just need to know that someone's there for you. I'm looking at this bottle because it's beautiful. I love this bottle. I love these bottles. But sometimes you just need something there, and a warm hug, friends, and a scent that embodies that. So I chose Oh My Soul from 4160 Tuesdays, London. Now the reason why I chose this fragrance first is the smell of it kind of represents like a warm hug. This is a very complex, very beautiful. It's warm, it's resinous, it's smoky, it's woody. There's so many different notes that go into this fragrance, but at the same time, it's really beautiful and it's just a fantastic fragrance to wear. It's just, when I remember smelling this for the first time and thinking to myself, this is fantastic. I love this fragrance. It's so good, and it is. It's still one of my top 10 fragrances ever. I love the name, Oh My Soul, obviously the Facebook group, so I thought it was kind of cute to choose for this video. But also I like that this fragrance first has great projection and it just makes me feel happy. And sometimes if you're dealing with existential issues, who am I? What do I mean to the world? What do I mean to my friends and family and the universe? Sometimes you just need to be reminded that you're loved, that you matter, even if it's just within a small circle of friends and family, or if it's within a larger audience. and having a scent that reminds you of that is really, really nice. So that is why I chose this one. Anyway, guys, the hat had a little bit more of a time today. Hopefully the next video will be a little bit more lighthearted. But as always, whatever the cat decides, the cat hat decides is what the cat hat gets. And today was existential dread. So you are very welcome. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to know what fragrances you would recommend. Maybe some great projecting scents that make you feel happy, uplift you, ground you. I would love to know what those fragrances are, and also any recommendations you have for adjectives or scenarios you would like to see in said hat. Let me know in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!